Hey, this is Notser, and this is the Tier 6 Soviet destroyer Ognevoi. It has 4 main guns, 6 torpedoes, 12 AA guns, a surface detection of 7.5 kilometers, top speed, 37.3 knots, total hull 15,500. For my modules, reduced crit chance on main battery and propulsion, increased main battery accuracy, faster rudder shift. For my commander, situational awareness, basic firing training, faster turret traverse, and superintendent. We are on the map Hotspot, and the Soviet destroyer line is a little awkward. Not having access to your torpedoes is very weird. In my Gremyashi, I can have the torpedoes because they actually have range. Everything else, no range. No range on your torpedoes. You will always be under every other destroyer range for torpedoes, and that hurts. That hurts a lot. The guns, best guns on any destroyer, bar none. Nothing compares to these 130mm. They can actually do AP damage. You can actually fire AP at Clevelands and destroyers and other cruisers. There's actually a benefit. 600 points of damage to be precise when you use AP. That adds up really fast considering the rate of fire. The grouping's fantastic. It's very easy to aim on the precise part of the ship that you want to land. So whenever you're firing HE, you can nearly hit the superstructure every single time to do maximum HE damage. Or, if you're firing AP, you can fire right at the waterline and get those citadel penetrations. So, from a standpoint of mechanics, this ship feels very solid. And we're going to fire on this enemy minikaze, and you can see the grouping, the damage output we're doing. We've already taken him down to below half, and it looks like the island's gonna get in the way. We're trying. Reload, reload. One more last shot. And he disappears, and we're unsuccessful. Torpedoes in the water. The ship itself is pretty agile, considering it's just a larger destroyer. You can see the hit points. The health of the ship is equivalent to a Tier 9 US or Japanese destroyer, and this is a Tier 6. So you gain about, I'd say 5,000. 5,000 tier for tier. And that's pretty awesome. Now, is that useful when you're fighting a battleship or a cruiser with high rate of fire? Not really. But going up against destroyers, they just can't deal with you. It's very hard for them. And we actually burned down the minikaze, I believe, because he didn't have access to damage control. He had already used it. So, one enemy down. And we killed him so fast. If we have time on the target, he is going to die very quickly. Now, I was trying to move in, maybe get around the island, and engage this very low destroyer. He's one shot away. And we gotta kill him. Kill this guy. Within 2 kilometers, enemy can spot you. He's burning down, though. He's going to die. Yeah, he died to a fire set by a friendly. And there's a lot of traffic here. A Japanese destroyer might not have as much success because the rate of fire is so slow, but I can do a lot of damage even in a situation where there's enemies from all sides, and we just got to take them on one by one, try and eliminate them as quickly as we can. I notice that there's an enemy destroyer flanking us, and I don't want this destroyer to be able to attack our backs, so I'm going to go engage him. This is standard procedure 101, unrelated to this ship, but the ship does allow me to easily outgun this ship. I'm at an advantage as long as I can maneuver outside of the torpedoes. Which, here they come! They weren't set for me, they were set for a friendly, and easily passed by. Now, I'd like access to my back guns, but having one set of guns isn't terrible. You do about 600 to 1,200 points of damage per turret. And that's significant, especially against a destroyer with 9,000 hit points. Now the Mutsuki, he's hiding. He's probably stationary, so we just want to get within 2 kilometers and want to fire everything. 2,200. We send out torpedoes. Unnecessary. In this situation, he was going to die to my guns, but I just wanted to see how fast they moved towards his target, which was really fast. And another enemy destroyer knocked out. We see a third, a Mutsuki, half health, and we're going to engage him. And first shot, I can't stress this enough, you gotta be accurate with your gunfire in order to exploit the power of the Soviet destroyers. More so than any other destroyer, you've gotta land your shots, especially at long range. Now the velocity helps that. It is extremely fast. I have tried a couple games where I've been at max range. The detection of 130mm guns is 3.8 kilometers, extends out your default, which is 7.5 with my camo. So you can think about that as roughly going to 11.3 kilometers, right? As long as I engage a target and I know there's no destroyers close by, within that, I will be completely invisible when I fire. Now, it's very close to the max range of the guns. I don't have advanced firing, but on Tier 4, it's very hard. You have to decide between Last Stand, which is a no-brainer for destroyers, and advanced firing, which is a no-brainer for anyone who wants range on guns that are lower than 155mm. So, I'm going to cross that bridge. I'm probably going to attempt the longer range so I can engage, because I feel confident in my ability to hit the target. And more torpedoes. We're just going to slide to the right, and we barely avoid those, but we avoid them. The Farragut probably hit an invisible barrier, and he's trying to adjust. And just look at how much damage we do when we only have access to one set of our guns. But this guy dies so fast. It's already 50% life, and we haven't really had all our guns firing on the target. We just need to maneuver past this island, and we're going to engage him. We need to make sure that we don't put ourselves in a position where we take a torpedo and die. And yeah, there's an island in the way, so we gotta adjust. Looks like he's either gonna run aground or he's barely, and someone does a ton of damage and we finish him off. Let's not run aground. We're going extra slow just to make sure we'll easily clear it. There's an enemy battleship in front, and I was considering using my torpedoes, but you can see I don't even have range on him at this distance, and it doesn't look like he's gonna move in range. Friendly flashes in front, so we're not going to have access to our torpedoes if we don't want to hurt our teammate who is right next to us. He's setting up for torpedoes, obviously. He sends his out. He's the exact same class of ship. Shouldn't even send these torpedoes out. But you never know, maybe the battleship slows down enough that his go by and I could finish him off. That's what I was thinking. But no, the battleship is going to take him and he dies. They move fast though. If you see a Soviet destroyer torpedo coming towards you, you better hope that he just misses, because the speed of the torpedo is going to reduce the chance that you can maneuver. Now, we of course obliterated this game, completely dominated as a team. The sea point, you can just see the litter of ship vessels everywhere. And we're looking to get this Cleveland. Now, the Cleveland is a Tier 6, probably the scariest cruiser when you are in a destroyer because of the rate of fire and the amount of guns. The Mogami is the same way, but obviously that's Tier 8. We're down at Tier 6. Cleveland is what we're going to run into 90% of the time, and that's okay. We're going to call his bluff. We're going to fire on his position. We're going to see if he would like to engage us. We set him on fire. Rate of fire, of course, is extreme, so you got to make sure that you're ready to fire every single time the gun reload is available. So, head on the swivel, come right back, and make sure you can have an accurate shot. We take out the Cleveland. We're taking fire from the other Cleveland, who is near full health. We want to be very careful to engage this guy, and we're just trying our best to avoid all this damage. He is able to set us on fire. We use damage control, and we pop smoke, because we don't want to take more damage. And right as the immunity of damage control wears off, we get another fire. But now we're in the smoke. He cannot see us. We're engaging him, and we're doing pretty significant damage. You gotta aim these shots on the superstructure. Anytime you can see these rounds hitting anything other than the superstructure, they're doing very little damage. And when the target is maneuvering, it's harder to hit the superstructure, obviously. At this angle, neither HE or AP is very effective. You can see that we are aiming at the top of the hull to get those superstructure shots. That is a very effective way to use HE, and it needs to be more a part of your firing mechanics if you want to use a Soviet destroyer, because you're going to be firing a lot of HE. A lot of HE. You're going to want to fire HE against destroyers, just because you can take out their modules. You're going to want to fire HE at battleships, because, well, they're battleships. This is nearly the only opportunity I get to fire AP, and he is near my max range, so it's going to be plunging fire, and I just don't have the range. He's moving outside of it. We are still stationary in our smoke, but we're going to try and stay within the range of the target. And we're firing actively, and he cannot see us. We're right outside of the detection, 11.3, 11.4 kilometers. This is the invisible area that you will start seeing destroyers fire at, where they can engage you, but you have no way of actually seeing them. You just see stray rounds coming in, and that's a little weird. And I'm not sure if it's going to be something that they want to address, but you can see we move just slightly too close, and we're detected again. And it's a very hard thing to do, because the target will actively maneuver, and they might come back in, move out, and it's just too close right now. If I had the advanced firing range, I could extend the range that I could engage, and it would be a little bit easier to stay outside of that detection range. So the Cleveland's taken out. That Cleveland's going to die. We're just headed towards B because, whatever. The game's over. It's going to either end at the Cleveland's death, or we're going to end up capturing in the next 30 seconds. So overall, the feeling on the ship is, it's a little scary. It's just not the way you would play a destroyer normally. It's a completely new style, and it needs to be explored. I need to min-max the captain for this destroyer, and I might have to sacrifice some things that I think are universal truths for a destroyer, like a last stand. As I play it more, as I get more familiar, I'll be able to know what commander skills are necessary to make the Soviet destroyer work. We get 4 kills, we defend the base, cause some flooding, 1743 base XP, not bad, not bad. We do somewhere in the realm of 40,000 points of damage, which is alright. I hope you enjoyed seeing this ship, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.